Okay guys, test video here, 2x4 2879C. This one is set up for SSB, bias and delay. 2290s driving two 2290s driving four 2879Cs. Obviously does have the variable on it here, so this should be a nice cool running amp. Should last a long time without giving issue. Now, as we know in the past with any amp, when you add the bias and delay in there, the bias in particular, you do see a little bit less output out of it. Seems like about 10% loss generally on the output side versus running it straight Class C. So we'll see how this one does, see how it pans out, but there's the plastic for it. Brand new amp. Recommended drive, I would put about 2 watts, 2.5 watts in. Keep your dead key between 150 and 200 watts, and then swing into it, you know, anywhere between 25 peak and 40 peak. So we're putting on the medium side of that, we're swinging about 35 peak into it, so not necessarily the absolute max we can put in, but we're getting pretty close, you know. So you could put a little bit more into it, you'd see the PEP numbers come on up a little bit. And we're putting 10 watts average into it. So that being said, running about 15 volts. Again, the 2879C, people are running them up to 16 volts, 16.5 volts, and having good luck. I recommend staying at 15.5 or below, but that, of course, is all up to you. So first thing we're going to do here, we're just going to key down and give it a good audio. Audio. So getting up there, depending on our voice tone, you saw about 67 amps or so. Again, it can do a little bit more drive into it. It'll come alive. We'll come over here to the output. 1000 watt slug, bottom scale. We'll go ahead and give it a key up. You can see our dead key is actually a little bit over 200 watts, so I'm going to back it down just a shade. There we go. So close to 500 watts average, about 480 or so average. And then PEP, check audio, check audio, check audio, audio. So 950 there. Now, that being said, I have done videos on these 2x4Cs in the past, and generally on my meter they do just over 1,000. People get them home and they do more. Again, this one has bias and delay added, so what I say, around 10% loss on your power output. Generally they show about 500 watts average, maybe a little more, and they show about 1100 watts peak here. This one, you know, showing about 950 PEP, and showing about 460 to 475 average. So that's right in line with what we would expect. If we want to see the variable work in it, I haven't tested the variable to see how it actually operates. We'll see if it makes a difference here. We'll go to PEP. So it definitely made a difference on the dead key, and it didn't drop the PEP down much. Hey, it dropped it a little bit. We'll turn it all the way down. Check audio, check audio, check audio. So all the way down it does drop it. Drops it down below 800 watts. So you go from 9 and some change down to 800 watts PEP. Good running amp though. Should be a nice one. Should last a long time. The drivers obviously aren't killing the 220 or the 42879Cs. If we had a way to test exactly what the drivers are putting into it, I would assume around 200 watts PEP, maybe a little bit less. When you have a variable in here, it does restrict the drivers slightly, so if you really wanted to go all out, you could always bypass this variable if you wanted the drivers to come on up and do a little bit more power. But when you add a variable in line, it does cut back the power of the driver transistors a little bit. So if you were somebody that needed every single watt out of this amp, you could always bypass the variable and it would probably jump up another 100 watts or so. But that being said, guys, nice running amp. Sideband delay works. I don't know if you guys can even hear that, but the delay works just fine. And I was trying to see, it does have a remote jack on it. Looks like a standard remote jack. So 2x4 2879C for Mr. Chris. Appreciate it. More amp videos coming. We will get some more tested, and we're working down the list here, guys. Appreciate it. Rooster in Tennessee. See you. Bye.